But let's talk about what exactly is going on. Explain kind of what's happened at these hearings, who's leading them, who's listening to them, who's there, and what do you think it's leading to and accomplishing it at this moment in time?
Sure. So, we can kind of trace this back again to 2017 when the New York Times published a article that there was a secret Pentagon UFO program that had been kind of working in the shadows for many, many years. Again, we thought this all ended back when Project Blue Book closed in the 1950s.
Now,
late
Project
60s.
Blue Book, of course, was the investigative, government force that was looking into UFOs.
Correct. Yeah. And, they came out on the other side sort of saying there's nothing to it. We can explain most of it. It's not a national security threat. We're done. We're done investigating this hooey. And then, we come to find out in the New York Times, they've been investigating it all along in secret in black budget programs. And this actually came forward by the former head of that program, a gentleman named Luis Elizondo. So, all the courage to this guy for, resigning from his position, coming out and kind of blowing the whistle on this secret program. And it was kind of a pressure cooker from there. The public was now getting more interested. Congress members were now paying attention, being like, wait a second, there are programs out there investigating UFOs and they're using taxpayer dollars, yet there's no oversight of these programs. We don't know about them. We don't know where the money's going, what the discoveries or data is telling us about UFOs. That's not cool. That's not the way this democracy works, quote unquote. So what you have is in the past few months, this UFO whistleblower, a gentleman named Dave Grusch, he's a former intelligence officer. He came forward in a news media website that I actually work for called The Debrief. And man, like the things he was saying were insane. I mean, he said while working with the Pentagon and the Department of Defense, that he spoke to over 40 individuals who worked on programs that recovered downed UFOs. So we're talking the Roswell UFO crash, the Aztec UFO crash, all these crashes that have allegedly happened in UFO mythology, according to this guy, were real. And not only did we recover the craft, but there were quote unquote non-human biologics found with these craft as well.
AKA alien creatures.
Exactly, man.
Non-human
if we want to take it that way, yeah. Right. He's very careful with his wording on all this, which I think is it's why I like this guy. He's not ready to just say these are little gray men, little green men from Mars. But man, like the reason he came forward is because he filed a complaint with the Inspector General of all people and said that there are programs working illegally outside of the purview of the United States government and outside of congressional oversight. And all of this money is being put into reverse engineering the technology that they have uncovered from these UFOs. Mm-hmm. And he swore this under oath, man, at a congressional hearing this past week. Wow. This past week, July 26th, to the House Oversight Committee. And if any of what this guy is saying is found to be not true, he goes to jail. So either this dude is literally insane and doesn't give two Fs about what happens to him, which I don't believe, because he held some of the highest positions in our intelligence community, or he's telling the truth. And we're about to find out that UFOs exist, aliens exist, and we've known about it for a really long time.
So much to unpack here. So when he says there's, these biological alien, beings, or not alien, biological beings, are people, I'm assuming, like, when I've never been to a congressional hearing. So when he's up there telling these things, there are people asking him questions in return. And what kind of questions was he getting asked? Were people taking it seriously and saying, where are these beings? Where are these crafts? Kind of how far do they go into it at that point?
Yeah, sure. So, when I first heard that this hearing was happening, I was a little nervous. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a total shit show. Like, this is going to be a circus. But I came out on the other side, like, blown away by the seriousness and the serious nature that these congressional members took this. And not only that, we're talking bipartisan. So, like, you had Tim Burchett and Anna Luna, two extreme Republicans. And on the other side, you had Robert Garcia and Jared Moskowitz, two Democrats, working together to try to figure out if any of this is true and what needs to be done about it. And I was really impressed with the homework that all of these congressional members did. It was the most highly attended congressional hearing, like since like, God, we're talking back like during the like JFK stuff or congressional hearings. I mean, they had a line out the door. They had to kick people out and turn people away from this thing. And yeah, it was crazy. 2.5 hours. These guys, these three individuals, I should say, two Navy pilots also testified under oath about their UFO encounters on the East and West coasts. And it was beyond any expectations I ever could have had. And now it's a matter of what are these congressional members going to do with that information? Like, how are they going to pursue that? And actually, like within days after the hearing, we learned that many, again, of these bipartisan Congress members are forming a subcommittee to subpoena those people who actually worked on these reverse engineering programs, to talk to them, to get them under oath and figure out what is going on, where all this money is going, and what are these UFOs that they have recovered.
So, I mean, I'm sure the question that everybody asks is why now? Like, is there, you think there's some kind of an end game to this, or it just, the time was just right? And why was the time right, if that's the case as well?
I've been asking myself that question every single day. Why is this happening now? Why all of a sudden is, you know, Congress getting interested? Why, directly after this congressional hearing, the Senate Majority Leader too. And I know this gets all boring when it comes to like politics, but like the Senate Majority Leader is putting legislation into action that says that if these programs exist, whatever craft have been recovered need to be returned to the U.S. government for further study. And also that all UFO documents from the past like 50 years need to be declassified and given to the public.